this outer net concept is also about, this idea of the World Wide Web. It becomes the Web Wide World, where some people have called it pervasive computing. No matter what you call it, it is a phenomenon that we are in the midst of. And it's also a big part of what IBM has done to sort of redefine itself around this concept of smarter planet. And so, IBM and GE both intensely interested in this notion of smart grids that will essentially bring the intelligence and the flexibility of the internet to, these antiquated power systems, hundreds of years old, and, where 60% of the power actually gets lost in transmission. It's also going to be a fundamentally new architecture where power can be generated many different places and distributed throughout. I mentioned down here that the bottom line of this is new intelligence, and we mean that like truly new intelligence. I saw something this morning that blew my mind, but a few months ago we announced that we're going to have a computer compete on Jeopardy next year. And this is actually much more tuned to the semantic web. This is not about how fast can you Google the answer. Because if you think about Jeopardy, the real challenge is you have to understand the question. So the big leap in this has been in natural language processing, and they've been training it against Jeopardy champions, because part of the thing is you also have to be fast enough to beat the other people. So we'll see if this can really change the idea of what machine intelligence is going to be. But this morning I actually noticed that we have a very interesting project called the Cognitive Computing Initiative. And it's with Stanford, 5 other universities, and DARPA. They have successfully modeled a cat brain. And, a cat brain, my cat's brain is not that complicated. But this is an example of where we're going to be. We talked about, AR in 10 years. This is in 10 years. We are in the midst of exponential change, and human beings are not very good at understanding that. And I think we've talked about this. One example of exponential change, if you haven't heard this, it's a great way to think about this. If you had a lily pad in the middle of a pond, and it was going to double every day and cover the pond at the end of 30 days, what day from the first day to the 30th day do you notice that the pond is half covered? Anybody?
One day before.
That's right, the 29th day. So that is actually the same mechanism that is happening with computing processing, storage, genomic sequencing, all the kind of Kurzweilian things. But this is a reality. We're not good at projecting that. We expect the future to be a little bit like the recent past, only a little bit better. But the reality is we probably will see as much change in the next 5 years as we've probably seen maybe in the last 50. And that's something that is hard to put your heads around. But it's why I think that this AR frontier is so interesting and so wide open. So, of course, I wanted to touch on the fact that we are doing some experiments around AR. At Wimbledon, we had an Android browser that allowed people to find things all over Wimbledon, see scores, and so on. Down here, this is a new project called Breadcrumbs. And Lynn, I think you kind of mentioned this. I think with an iPhone, you can take a picture of the barcode, and it will tell you any recall information, where this product was actually produced or assembled. And that's kind of the tip of the iceberg of things like the traceability of information around food products. This was what I was showing you briefly in the beginning of, how might meetings enable physical and virtual or augmented participants. And then down here, I guess I got to make this smaller, but this down here is called stream computing, and this is something that we just launched this year, And just to explain it in very simple terms, this allows things like in ICUs for preemie babies, for 100,000 parameters or variables of their entire physiology to be monitored in real time. This is processing that has absolutely no limitation in terms of its real timeness. And what that offers is the ability to be able to anticipate, predict, and maybe have as much as 10 hours of warning of a baby who's going to crash or whatever. This also has implications for financial transaction processing, for the processing of the kinds of things that have to happen in real time in AR or in cloud computing. So I just wanted to offer this as some of the kind of background on why augmented reality is going to happen in ways that we probably won't fully be able to predict, but that it's likely to happen because we are visual creatures. There are many, many other facets of technology and culture that are emerging to enable this, and that ultimately augmented reality is part of this larger phenomenon that we're thinking as the outer net.